Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Greetings, beautiful people. My name is Simon Javan Okello. I am in Seattle, Washington, and I am truly privileged to be here with you for another amazing episode of the African Father in America podcast. And I have a very special guest who is joining me here today for our episode, for the day. And I'm truly honored to host my brother, Drez, aka Dumi Maraire, who is an Emmy award-winning artist originally from Zimbabwe, and is emerging from one of the most beautiful and powerful musical families in Africa. Drez, say hi to everyone before you continue with our conversation.
Man, what's up? I am so happy to be here. What's up, my guy Simon? As he has said, my name is Drez, also known as Dumi Sani Maraire Jr. I am the junior in the family, but I'm excited to be here. I want to talk Proverbs. I want to talk some music, man. I just love chopping it up with you, so it's great to be here today.
Thank you, my brother. I know that this has been a long time coming. You're a busy brother. Besides being an artist, you are an entrepreneur, you are a father, you are a culture curator. And we are going to dive deep into a lot of the work that you do and the impacts that you're making here in the US, in the African diaspora, but also back home in Zimbabwe. So if you're just joining us, make sure you leave us with your comment. Actually, I'm about to share the proverb that is our guiding light today. Our proverb is from Sankofa. It's a Ghanaian proverb that says, "A clear head is a stroll outside away." A clear head is a stroll outside away. So I want you to share in the comment what this proverb means to you. A clear head is just a stroll outside away. I have 3 nuggets of wisdom around this proverb that I'm going to share in just a second. But before I do that, I want to talk to you just briefly about the Madaraka Festival that is coming up on May 16th in New York, on May 21st in Atlanta, on May 24th in Dallas, and then on May 26th in Seattle, Washington. I just shared the banner on the screen for those who are watching. I know that many of you are joining us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on TikTok, here on YouTube, and also on Twitter. So thank you all. Drez was there at the very beginning of the Madaraka Festival. So we are going to take you back to the beginning, and then we are going to bring you to the present and talk about the future. So, buckle up if you've not connected with Drez before. But also, when we talk about this Madaraka Festival, it's an African festival. And today, as you know, we are grounding ourselves in African proverbs. So a lot of the work we do really is to help change the narrative about Africa. And so I want to share 3 nuggets of wisdom just quickly. And then I want to bring Drez to talk about this proverb from Ghana. A clear head is just a stroll outside away. Now, these are the 3 nuggets of wisdom related to this proverb. The first one says that taking a break and getting some fresh air can help clear your mind and improve your ability to think and make decisions. That's the first nugget. The second nugget is that sometimes the solution to a problem or a challenge can be found by stepping away and taking a walk to gain a fresh perspective. And then finally, regular breaks and outdoor activity can promote mental wellness and overall health. Our ancestors were very smart. They knew the challenges we are going through, and they left us with these nuggets of wisdom, with this proverb for us to use to navigate our day-to-day struggles. My brother Drez, when you hear this proverb from Ghana, what does it bring to your mind?
You know what? What a powerful proverb. It makes me just think about the importance of a clear head, right? It's just to start with that idea of a clear head. It what's not said is inferred. It's telling you that that's desired, right? Right in front of you is the importance that a clear head. It's not something that I think I would get if I was 19 years old. But as you get older, you start to go, wait a minute, a clear head is really, really an important thing. And then it's about the proximity. It's about showing you that a clear head is going to be found in the simplicity of life. Everything that you need to get a clear head, God gave you. What is that? It's just a stroll away, right? Like everything that is beautiful about life for me and important in life, the most important things God for me wrapped up in simplicity. He didn't wrap them up in having $1 million and having to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And you know what I'm saying? It's like it's the most simplest things that are going to give you what you need for life. And so I love the proverb. It's beautiful. The idea that if I need a clear head, it's just to stroll away. And again, like I said, it's really important that there's scripture in the Bible that we often read that talks about the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, right? There's this peace that so many of us desire and want. And you can have a level of peace that would surpass your understanding, meaning you could be in the middle of chaos and still have peace, right? I think the same is true here. You could have a job, you could be working hard, you could be doing so many things and still have that clear head. Lastly, I'll say this proverb hits really hard today or in this moment or in this season because so many of us are inundated with social media. We are on social media all the time. The last thing we have is a clear head. And the thing we all need is a clear head. And so to know that you might have to detach from technology, take a walk, go outside, just sit down, sip some tea, look at the ocean. All of those simple things of life are going to regenerate and rejuvenate your brain and your mind. And if you keep coming back to that clarity, it's going to help you deal with the chaos.
I love that. This is so important, especially right now, the way you put it. If you're just joining us, my special guest is Drez, aka Dumisani Maraire Jr., who is one of the headlining artists for the Madaraka Festival this year. And Drez is probably the only artist who has been on the Madaraka stage 3 times, 2014, 2021, and now in 2023. And, this is also just a demonstration of your leadership and how you've supported me personally and this work that we're doing with Madaraka Festival, but also it just connects with the work that you do in the community. You're the man behind through the eyes of art that has been going on at the Museum of Pop Culture for many years. During Black History Month this year, it was sold out again. You are working on some of the most incredible musical projects, but these things did not start today. These things started long time ago. I want you to take us back to maybe a period when you are 8 to 16, when maybe something happened that really, even today, when you look back, you say that moment is what really got me started, and this is what really drives me even today.
Wow. Drives me, got me started. You know what? I'm gonna pull a childhood moment from. There's a song that I wrote, if you all get a chance, called "Born to Win," right? And I released it about a year ago. And this song, I was living in Zimbabwe as a child. So I was actually born in Seattle, Washington. And then my mother and father, who are both Zimbabwean musicians, my father, Dumisani Marare, singer, was credited with bringing marimba and mbira music to America. And so growing up in Seattle, my parents wanted my siblings and I to know our culture. So they taught us how to play marimbas and mbiras. And in my entire life, that's what I did. I was always, if you were in Seattle and you went to a community festival, it was my family showing up. Often we would show up for free, right, as a dedication to the community. So we did all the festivals in the Black community. We performed at all the schools and things of that nature. I said all that to kind of set the stage. But when I was young, my mother sent me back to Zimbabwe because she wanted me to live in Zimbabwe. She wanted me to know where I was from. So she sent me to live with my grandmother, my uncles and aunts. And so I lived there. And when I returned back to Seattle, I was still very young, in like the first grade when I returned to Seattle. And when I got there, I remember I had an accent that was really strong, you know, because as a kid, you just pick up things easily. So my accent was really strong. I got to Seattle, and I remember when I went to school, times weren't like they are right now. The kids were brutal. You know, my hair was nappy, it was longer. So they were talking bad about, you know, like even now, Simon, like how kids might see your dreadlocks and be like, ooh, that's dope. Well, that's not what they thought when I was a kid, right? And so they laughed at me in school. They talked about my hair. I remember every time the teacher would say roll, I would hate it because she was gonna say my name, and my name, it's Dumi Sani, but people call me Dumi for short. And with Dumi, there's a lot of ways kids can mess that up. So I've been called everything from dummy to dookie to anything you could think of, and the whole class just starts laughing. It was brutal. And then I remember talking to African Americans and the students that I was around because I was in the hood, right? I was on a street called Union. I was at TT Minor, at a school called Union. I mean, at a school called TT Minor on a street called Union in Seattle. And I remember I was telling the kids like, "Yo, you're from Africa too," and they're like, "Yo, I'm not from Africa. I'm from Chicago or I'm from Mississippi," right? And there was this like disconnect. They didn't want to be connected with Africa. They didn't want to be associated with this place. And so that kind of set me on a course, I think, the rest of my life that I wanted to wake these young brothers and sisters up. There was a piece of me that didn't like that, that didn't understand it. I didn't, as a young kid, I didn't quite understand all the impacts of slavery. I grew up with so many of my friends who were from the hood, and they had this hole or this gap inside themselves because they didn't know who they were. They didn't know their language. They didn't know where they were from. They had never ate their own food. They had a name like Johnson or Jackson. These are not African names. These were white slave owners who stripped these young men and women of their names, of their culture, their identity, and in time, you know, mess with their minds to the point where they weren't even proud of their own heritage. And so that I think was an impactful story. I said that because if you watch my song "Born to Win," in the first verse, I talk about that experience. Um, and I want to share something really cool, Simon. I put out the song "Born to Win," and when I put it out, I went up to TT Minor. I wanted to shoot a music video. So I had these kids to kind of reenact this scene of me trying to engage, as a young African boy, trying to engage these young African Americans in this conversation. And so I went up to the exact school where this happened, and I went to shoot the scene. I got some kids. We shot a scene up at TT Minor Elementary School. And in shooting the scene, I went and I remember looking at the name of the school, and the school name had changed. It was no longer TT Minor, right? It was now a school dedicated to the incorporation of refugees into America. And I was like, whoa, right? Like this moment where I'm telling this story, and now this school where I experienced extreme levels of trauma as a child was now being used to make children with a similar experience to mine feel welcome. Um, that concept was it was one of the moments where you feel like God is saying, "Yes, son, you're on the right course."
I love that. I love that. Now, I want you to, first of all, let's talk to our guests. We have a number of people who have joined us on TikTok. Thank you so much. Make sure you're sharing this live, and make sure you're also, double tapping the screen and liking the live stream over there on TikTok. That's how that algorithm works. Then on YouTube, you also have to give this video a thumbs up later on and leave your comment down there. Share with us what you're hearing and how you're you're being moved by our conversation today. We have a proverb here, our proverb for today. Some of you just love sharing your own interpretation of these proverbs in the comments. So our proverb says that a clear head is just a stroll outside a way. And my guest is the incredible Drez Dumi Maraire, who is touring the US next month together with Sauti Soul, King Kaka, Eddie Kenzo, Anthony Cole. We have a plethora of artists from across the motherland and also the diaspora. So Drez, talk to us. We have this Madaraka Festival coming up, the tour. We have your incredible musical career. In fact, you're also in the movies in many ways. You just won an Emmy recently. A lot of your songs are also in big places. Some of your music is on TV and other movies. Share with us, when you look at your career, when you look at the upcoming tour, what is your most proudest moment, or what project are you currently working on that you feel that you'd love to share with the world right now?
Great question, Simon. Vast question, but a great one. I'll start by giving people some context to what you said. I did recently just win an Emmy Award. For many who don't know, I'm a songwriter. I live in Hollywood, so I'm in LA right now, and I write music for television. So I have over 6,000 placements on television shows. Love and Hip Hop, Who Killed Sarah, Inventing Anna, The Masked Singer, The Voice, you name it, man. I'm writing music for these shows. So if you watch television, you watch pretty much any television show, man. I'm one of the individuals creating music for those television shows. I am proud to say I've ascended to one of the top hip hop writers in the country for music on television. That's one part of what I do, and I'm blessed to be able to do that. But in addition to that, a lot of that music, when you're writing for television, you're not writing for yourself. You're writing for an audience. You're writing for a music director who they want a song that sounds a specific way, right? They're like, yo, we want you to write a song just like this. I remember I recently did a song for a Sony PlayStation commercial, right? And they wanted the song to be very specifically a certain way. So I do that as my day job. And then by night, I create the music that I love. I create the music that I want the world to hear. I am currently working on a project fittingly titled African American. That's the name of my upcoming album. For anybody listening, this is the first time heard anywhere. The album is coming out May 5th. So on May 5th, first time heard anywhere, my new album, African American, is dropping. I'm going to be so excited about that. And the track that is currently out right now from it is titled Majrita. Majrita in Zimbabwe means thank you. And I love this track because the track fuses marimba music also with hip hop. I believe we have to I always say my new sound is titled it's called Ancestral Art. And I call it Ancestral Art because I believe the way forward is back. If we're going to move forward, the way to do it is actually to go back into our roots and to create really interesting, different music. And so I am blending traditional sounds of Mbira and marimba together with hip hop to create this unique fusion style ancestral art music. And so Majrita is bubbling. I'm excited to announce that Majrita right now has moved up the charts in Zimbabwe. It is currently number 10 on the Star FM charts in Zimbabwe. So that song is bubbling. And I about a week and a half ago, I was number 5. I was number 15. So now I'm number 10. We're moving up the charts. And when we get to that number 1 spot, man, I might have to throw a party or something because the song is really bubbling and being embraced by people all over the world.
I love that song. I love Masvita. And now I even love it more because I know what it means. It means thank you. Is that in Shona language or in which Shona?
It's in Shona language, yeah. It means thank you, yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm so grateful that you took the time to join us today, my brother Days, and to all our guests. You know, I see that a lot of people are joining us on YouTube and on TikTok. I want you to leave your comment so that we can give you a shout out towards the end of our conversation today. But we want to take a moment to break down the Madaraka Festival for you. Days, I remember you being on stage with Wura Runga, we shared the stage with Mark Lemo and Ryan Lewis. And also, before we even go back to the first Madaraka Festival in 2014 and how that moment felt, I also want you to think about the Bellevue show, that we had in 2021. I want you to just take our listeners and our viewers on a journey of what you've seen Madaraka Festival become from the beginning. But also, Madaraka Festival is really similar to your story, Dres, because I think as a teenager, you toured with people like Janet Jackson, with Miles Davis, with Jimmy Buffett, and then as an artist, you've opened for Snoop Dogg, Macklemore, Wale, and I feel that the work that you've done is really what has also helped Madaraka Festival grow. And shout out to our brother Owora Runga, who has also contributed immensely to the growth of Madaraka Festival. But I want you to share with the audience members and our viewers your own story of Madaraka Festival and why it's important that they go. There's a link in the description for this video. We want you to get your ticket today because we are making history. So just go ahead, share your Madaraka story, and then I'll share, the dates and any other details in just a moment.
Yeah, Madaraka Festival is dope. It has a special place in my heart. As Simon said, I had the privilege of performing at the first Madaraka Festival on stage with my brother Owar Arunga. And to be honest with you, I feel like Simon and Owar had a symphony on stage. I was performing with so many dope musicians. It was a fusion. It was a fusion of African culture on stage. It was it was the diaspora going home, but it was home coming to the diaspora. It was just an eclectic, beautiful fusion of all different types of African art. What I thought was crazy though was the energy of the people on in the crowd. The crowd is insane. People are having a great time. I was like, yo, the kickoff to this festival was epic. And to me, that first year set the stage for everything that has come and everything that is to come. And as he said, I was privileged to be a part of that. It's been one of my favorite concerts I've ever done in my life, right? Being up on that stage, the energy that I received from the crowd, that they give back, it felt like being at home, a home away from home, if I can say that, right? I'm not in Zimbabwe, but here I am in the middle of Seattle at the Museum of Pop Culture with this sold out audience, and they're treating me like home. So they're embracing the music, the art, and the culture. But then fast forward to, I'll say, what is a couple of years ago, I did the Madaraka Festival. We were out in Bellevue, and I love that festival. That one has each festival every year has its own unique, distinct differences. That one was beautiful because it represented the resilience of Madaraka. And I say that because the entire world was dealing with COVID, right? We were all dealing with COVID and trying to figure out how do we make something happen, right, in the midst of this. And so the festival was outdoors. It was beautiful. It was like the comeback, like, okay, COVID had all of us down on our knees for a while, but we came out. People just wanted some music. They wanted some fresh music, some live music. And so that was one of my favorite ones in that it was the resilience and the comeback, and it was like a walking African proverb in itself, right? It was the proverb saying like, yo, we're not gonna die. We're here, Madaraka now, Madaraka tomorrow, and Madaraka forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I felt like that was. And then again, that just set the stage for everything that is coming. This tour right now is about to be insane. The lineup is epic. You have some of the dopest African artists going to be Sata Soul. I was like, yo, This is about to be crazy. And I want people to know when I hit that stage, I'm giving y'all energy, man. We are bringing Southern African energy. You're gonna hear some Amapiano. I'm gonna be up there with the whole show. We're gonna have the marimbas, the mbita, the live band. If you've never had this type of a Zimbabwean experience, I want people to come check out this festival. Grab yourself some tickets. If you don't believe me, go check out my video, Masrita, and feel the energy. I just released a song with Sunny Makalima from Zimbabwe, which is an Amapiano song. Go listen to this music, feel the energy, and know that's what you're going to get. But you're going to get it all live. We're not we're not lip syncing. We're gonna be up on that stage giving y'all energy, you know. So this is important. I do want to say Madaraka is important because it is one of the festivals that typically opens its doors to African music globally. We have a problem in the industry. American music industry has a problem. You have to watch what it did with rock and roll, right? Many people think that rock and roll is white music. It's not. It was started by black people. American industry ruined, um, culturally appropriated rock and roll, blues music. It's happening now with hip hop, right? You see it happen. All these music that was started by people of African descent often look like they're not anymore. And so, in order to stop that from happening, I want to make sure as the world turns its sights to African music, you're starting to see the same trends where they take one sound and then they just put it on TV and everything over and over and over until they run it into the ground. That's why the world thinks that African music is Afrobeat, right? And Afrobeat is a part of African music, but there are so many other sounds that are present in African music. And that's why I think festivals like Madaraka Festival are important because they shine a light not just on Afrobeat or just on Amapiano, but all of the different sounds and the many sounds that you hear coming from Africa. And so come out to this festival, participate. This is an African music festival, right? An African culture and heritage festival. And so I'm excited to be a part of it and hit the stage with Eddie Kenzo, King Kaka, Side to Soul, and so many others.
Thank you, bro. I just love this. I love. I could listen to you all day, really. Um, but I love some of the deeper meanings of why Madaraka Festival is important that you've shared with us, especially because when you also look at the touring circuit, you don't see African artists, especially from East and South Africa, touring the US, and so a lot of gifted artists are not visible enough, and they're not actually living up to their potential because of this barrier that has been created by visas, has been created by lack of legitimate platforms for our artists, has been created by our people here in the diaspora are becoming the majority. But you find that when some of their biggest stars show up in the US, they're in a hidden bar somewhere in the corner performing while they're filling up stadiums with hundreds of thousands of people back home. What do you have to say about this? I don't think that it respects art. It does not. In fact, it leaves a lot of artists completely, like mentally, it discourages people from even doing the work that they're born to do.
You know what? I as an artist have a unique perspective on it, right? And in context to what Simon was just saying, these artists in other countries, like in Zimbabwe, there are artists who can sell out whole stadiums with 50,000 and 100,000 people, but then they come to America and they can't fill up a room with 800 people, right? No one knows who they are. I see that some of that I view um, as just an opportunity, right? I think that's an opportunity for growth. And I think we have to see that as an opportunity for growth. I think it's an opportunity for people to connect with new artists and to check them out. Now we have to figure out how to build that bridge, and that's what I think Madaraka is doing. It's building the bridge. So what that is saying is the industry has not caught wind of these artists yet. The industry in America hasn't quite gotten its hands on Satu Soul, or hasn't gotten its hands on a Ja Praiser or a Winky D in Zimbabwe, right? And that's, in some regard, that is beautiful, right? Because it means there's a fresh opportunity for us to create our own pathways, for us to create our own industry, for us to create our own bridges. That's what Madaraka is doing, right? You're creating the bridge between America and these other artists and saying, yo, this is huge, right? Because our African brothers know who these artists are. Our African brothers, I was talking to a one of the largest promoters in LA the other day. I was talking about the tour, and he's a promoter of African music. And we were talking about, shout out to my brother Timmy from Amplify Africa. I was talking with him, and he was like, "Yo, Sata Soul's coming!" Like, whoa, right? So it's not that we don't know, right? It's that it takes time to build bridges. It's a process, and the process is happening. And I think you're doing the work. So I see an opportunity to connect people to artists like myself, like Dre's, who they may not know. But it also takes a visionary like yourself, Simon, who is not just, to me, what I think is beautiful about what you're creating with Madaraka is that you're going, who needs to be here, right? When you start dealing with the industry, that's where you lose things. The industry is going to go, who's going to fill out the seats, right? That's not looking at an opportunity. You're looking and saying, where do we need to go? What artists need to be on that stage? What artists does America need to know about? What music is actually, you're doing your job. You remember when DJs used to actually DJ? Remember when DJs used to actually find artists, right? Like now you go to a DJ, you like play my record. The DJ's looking at you like, yo, give me $1,000. Like, your job is to break artists, right? Like everyone has lost sight of who they are. It's called the music industry because it's supposed to be an ecosystem. And that ecosystem is supposed to mirror community in itself, right? But if everybody in the community has lost their identity, now everybody wants to be a social media celebrity. So you're no longer concerned with doing your job. There's no managers. Nobody wants to manage. They want to be the star. There's no publicist. Well, I don't want to be the publicist. I want to be the star. Well, then the ecosystem falls apart. And then when it falls on its head, great artists doing great music from around Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, all of these different places get starved out. And so what you're finding is this vacuum where the industry has said, the industry looks in America and it finds one type of music, and then it's just going to keep hitting you with that, Burna Boy, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Wizkid. It's like, yo, you do know we have hundreds of artists, and that's no knock on them because I think Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid, they're dope. I love what Nigeria is doing. It's ill. They've laid the blueprint that many of us should be able to follow, right? But we have to make sure we as Africans stay in control of our industry and not allow it to be overtaken and overrun by like the same things that happened with our parents and our parents' parents. And now we have music. Again, I say it again because it's important. Rock and roll is black music, right? And people look at it like it's not, right? They look at it and they say it's U2 and Aerosmith, and it's like, yeah, nah, that's not where it started. It is black music. Almost every major music in America is black music, right? And around the world, right? Because that's just how dope and influential we have been. And it's just the facts. I'm not trying to claim everything. If someone creates something, everyone should be given credit for what they do, regardless of what color, race, nationality they are. However, we got to give credit where it's due. And black people have been ingenious when it comes to music. So
I love that. That's totally true. And shout out to the Nyatiti behind me. Those are some of the roots, the roots of the African music that we are now seeing in guitars and all these modern instruments. So I want to just quickly I want to share with you when the Madaraka Festival is happening this year, and I want to highly recommend for you, if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, take a second and go to the link. The description has the link to the tickets. Whether you want to join us at Irving Plaza on May 16th, whether you want to join us in Atlanta at Bucket Theater on May 21st, or at the House of Blues on May 24th in Dallas, or in Seattle on May 26th at Benaroya Hall, where we are doing the grand finale of the Madaraka Festival. You can get all the tickets through the link at the description of this video, or you can go to madarakafestival.com and get the link today. My brother Dre's, you know Benaroya Hall very well. You've performed at many venues across the world, but many people don't know Benaroya Hall and the significance of us doing the Madaraka Festival there. Can you just touch on that? And then after that, I'll give a quick shout out to some of the people who have joined us, but also think of your parting shot, the last few things you want to say. So speak about Benaroya Hall for a moment.
As Simon said, I've been on stages around the world. I've been throughout Europe and toured. Been to Korea, Japan, Guam, Denmark, Paris. I've been to Hungary and Bosnia to perform, right? In the middle of the war, right? So, I've been blessed to touch a lot of stages. Benaroya Hall is one of those amazing stages, one of the most beautiful and amazing stages in Seattle in the Northwest. The Seattle Symphony performs at Benaroya Hall. When you start talking about the creme de la creme, this is what we're talking about. This is where you put your good clothes on, you look beautiful, you go in there and you hit the stage. But it also has an energy and a legacy of energy and music and vibrant music coming into this space. So uh we're not going to be on some ragtag stage. No, we are on the one of the premier stages in the Northwest for performance and music and art. And it's fitting because what this is it's classic, beautiful African art on display. And I'm excited about that because the hall and the venue attracts a different audience. It lets everyone know you're welcome here. And I think that you were genius for selecting this space because the message that it's saying to Seattle and to the world is that African music is should be treated like fine wine, should be treated like a fine art. But it's something to be experienced in a lot of different ways. And I can think of no better venue for it than that. When you told me, I was like, where you going this year? He's like, Benaroya Hall. I was like, yo, that is super dope, right? And you're showing them the many ways that the Madaraka Festival works. So.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Everything you say is also uplifting and very important for me. So I deeply appreciate you. Think about your parting shots while I give a few shout outs here. Cubs Destiny, I see you. Thank you for joining us from the Midwest. Stella, I see you. Thank you for joining us from Kisumu, Kenya. Brother Art, thank you for joining us from North Carolina. And then Lavender, thank you for joining us also from Seattle. If you are watching this after the live stream, make sure you leave your comment down below with your own interpretation of today's proverb from Ghana. It says, a clear head is just a stroll outside away. My special guest is the award-winning Dre's, aka Dumisani Maraire Jr., who is one of the headlining artists for Madaraka Festival this year, and also an entrepreneur. Dre's, we didn't speak about all the work that you do to support black business. You've partnered with the daughter of the legendary Muhammad Ali to put money in people's pockets. Speak about this for a moment before you talk about your parting shots and we close the show.
It's all good, man. Yeah. During the pandemic or a little before the pandemic, I wrote a track called Building Black Wealth. And the song was really just an homage to all the black businesses that I support. I've been on a goal to get my home to 50% black owned. And so the idea is I want everything. I want soap to be black owned. I want, why not, right? Let's support my own. I'm giving the money to somebody. Why not give it to somebody who I know has a vested interest in reinvesting in my community? And so I started doing that. And then I wrote a song about it. And in the song, I shot out over 22 black owned businesses that I frequent or use in one way or another. So if y'all get a chance, go check that out. It also features me playing Mbita on the track. So just go to YouTube or anywhere and Google Building Black Wealth, the song. But so when the pandemic hit, I couldn't do much. So I just started going live with different black owned businesses, right? I would just, hit somebody and be like, yo, you want to go live? We stuck in the house, right? Let's talk about this. And so I started doing that, and then that ended up launching Juneteenth. It came upon us, and I ended up launching what was the Building Black Wealth Black Marketplace. I partnered with Layla Ali, Angela Rye, the political analyst, also participated, and then I just started going live for years with different black-owned businesses. I've had businesses from around the world, from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, from Europe. Um, and I'm proud to say that we have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for these businesses. They sell out of their products whenever we go live. And so that just became like a fun passion of mine. I don't take any money. My company doesn't take, we don't take a 10% of everything sold. Nah, it was just like a gift from us to them to be able to say, yo, I think what you're doing is dope and the world needs to know about you. So those episodes are up on my YouTube page. You can go check out a bunch of those. Go to the Dre's Experience. That is my social media handle everywhere. But I want to make a shameless plug since we're talking black business. If you see this shirt I got on right here, Nourish. Yeah. This is my daughter, Nyasha Maraire. This is her brand. And so she is an esthetician. So she does facials and body waxing and all of those types of things. She's also a brilliant artist, a singer, a rapper, and a an actress. So she's beautiful, amazing. Look up Nourish. Go follow them online. You know what I mean? You see this brand, this is her. But I got to represent my squad. So that's what I'm representing today. I'm representing Nourish. And I got my first facial from her as well. So that was she put this like mud all over my face. Oh man, brother, I thought I was gonna drown. But she did an amazing job. She's gifted. She has an incredibly gentle, beautiful touch. She has gifted hands that are made, and she cares about keeping people beautiful. She cares about your face wellness and your skin wellness and you know what I mean? And so when we saw that, we encouraged her to go, follow her passion and her dream, and she's done it. She's got her own spot on Melrose right here in LA. And so if you're in LA and you want to get a facial, pull up on Nourish.
Bro, that's incredible. There's one question I was actually about to ask you. I know that that's your parting shot and you've shared your socials, but fatherhood, this podcast is called African Father in America. Both of us are fathers, girl dads, and luckily your girl is now a business owner. Talk to our viewers. Our audience members are Africans in the diaspora, but one of our biggest struggles as African people here in the diaspora is that a lot of our young people are in jail. Similar to our black American brothers and sisters, a lot of our young people are in jail. What advice do you have to young black fathers here in America, young African fathers here in America who are trying to make it like yourself?
In all honesty, I am passionate about being a father. It is probably the thing I am most proud of, the thing I am most dedicated to is my daughter. There is nothing that is going to be more rewarding in your life than being a father or a parent, right? And there's nothing that is going to develop you more than being a father or a parent. Um, I'm passionate about it. I love my daughter. I had my daughter when I was young. Um, but I remember when I was younger, I took a trip to New York and I wanted to go move because I wanted to chase my passions. But my daughter was very young. She was about 4 or 5. And I quickly understood on that trip. It didn't take me very long to realize, yeah, she needs me more than I need this dream to happen. And so I put my dreams on hold. I packed my stuff up, went right back to Seattle, and I stuck it out all the way until she was old enough to move with me to LA, right? And so I just want to challenge brothers to break the cycle, break the generational curse. Say the buck stops with me. At some point, somebody has to be the one, and why not you? Why not me to say, I'm going to break this cycle? Many of us have dealt with a father or a parent who was absent or just not there. And why instill the same amount of trauma on the next generation that you had on you? Um, to us as a community at large, we have to understand the games that are played with us and the implications and the impact and the ramifications holistically are massive. Just taking the dad out of the home breaks down the entire community. And I don't have time to unpack that, but it's right in front of us. It's all around us. So I implore people, stick it out, be in the home, be present. Um, you got a baby's mama, baby's daddy who's giving you drama. It don't matter. Still do it. I'm not just talking about this. I'm living this. My wife and I, my sister she runs a site called the Black Marriage Movement. They are the Black Marriage Movement on all socials. And every Tuesday night, my wife and I go on there and we host a conversation titled Millennial Parenting. Why? Because we're trying to help parents get the tools they need to deal with everything you have to deal with in this generation because it comes at you fast and you're dealing with a lot. So, let me say this, my parting shot to make sure I do it. Please go check out my music at The Dre's Experience across all platforms. On Instagram, it's The Dre's Experience, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Check out my new single, Majrita. Again, Majrita is number 10 right now on the Star FM charts in Zimbabwe. Check it out. The song is crazy. And I will be performing it live at the Madaraka Festival all throughout the US. You don't want to miss this, man. I promise you it's going to be an epic show.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. And take good care of yourself. I'll be hitting you up shortly just to follow up. Take great care of yourself. And to all our audience members who joined us, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or here on YouTube, or even on TikTok, I just want you to know that you're deeply appreciated. And we will see you tomorrow around the same time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Take care of yourselves as well. Peace and love, my brother.
Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle,